Good morning. I hope everyone had a great 4th of July weekend. I wanted to touch base about Module 3 and how your lesson plans are going, and also give you a brief introduction to Module 4. You've had a little bit of a reprieve in the sense, I don't know how much was a reprieve, but you had a little bit of extra time in the sense that Module 3 was actually due last weekend, and Module 4 isn't due until this coming weekend. So if you haven't jumped on the discussion boards yet or haven't taken a look at what's required, I suggest you do so as soon as possible because it can be a somewhat challenging module for people. Before I jump into Module 4, I want to reiterate. People are still not quite fully getting as broad as you need to with the essential questions. It really should be answering the question, what's the point? And not just what's the point for that particular lesson, but what's the life lesson? And last week I posted, or the week before, I had posted a resource to and a link to essential questions and some really good examples that you could easily just pluck from. And get a real clear sense about essential questions. So please make sure that you are going back and reading that. It's really important. For Module 4, you're talking about data literacy. And so the discussion is interesting because for you in particular, you're going to be able to have some discussion about how data is used, and you may have similar experiences, but it'll be interesting to see who defines the data at your school? Who defines what data really is? Is it the teachers? Is it the administration? Is it a collaborative process? And really looking at that. And just remember that whatever's said in LEC stays in LEC. And so please feel free to kind of talk through that and brainstorm on, if you were in charge of the world, what would be the ideal approach to data? For the activity, you're going to create a data visualization. Now, if you are familiar with infographics are a type of data visualization, but they are not the only type. So delve into that a little bit, see what the differences are, and do your best, okay? And then for the portfolio assignment, I need to give you a little bit of background to this one. This particular lesson was designed by myself, actually, and it was designed based on what I used to do with my own students. Now, my students were older, they were freshmen at least, and I would have them for the first essay of every year. I always had a process grade and a content grade, and the upshot is at the very end, I would do a data disaggregation without using any web tools, and I would essentially make the case that if students did the process, they would almost guaranteed get at least an 80% on the content. So there were 5 elements to the process, and all that had to happen with the process is that they got it in on time and did it according to the instructions. Because it was really necessary that we be able to have that feedback and have the peer reviews and have the opportunity to talk about what was going on with their writing. And lo and behold, the students who did that and made sure that they got their stuff in on time and were able to take advantage of those peer reviews and the reviews with me and the critical conversations, their writing improved, and therefore they got a higher content grade. And so I would sort of let the data speak for itself, and I didn't have to hit my head up against a wall reminding kids, well, if you would just get it in on time, then it would, your writing would improve. And, I certainly understand that some of that has to do with the age of students I was working with, and perhaps they had, learned their own lessons in previous grades, and I was just able to give them the final nudge. But it turned, by and large, it was a very successful kickoff to the first large writing assignments for the year. And then the reflection, in the reflection, you're going to speak more deeply about, the net standards or the ISTE standards, and talk about where you think you are on that spectrum. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm actually in the county office most of this week with the exception of Friday, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to call, feel free to stop by. Give me a little bit of a heads up if you can so I can make sure I'm in my office, but other than that, I hope you, again, all had a wonderful 4th of July. Have a great week and try to stay cool. Thanks. Bye.